And that's where I did all my training. So it would be like first day 1 mile, then the second day would be like strength training. Then the third day would be like, okay, run 1.5.
And it was like every single day or like spaces in between?
Yeah, some days you have rest days. Gotcha. And then straight like that for 3 months. And then I remember that day, it became real. And I was just like, I'm really doing this? Oh my God. And I remember waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Like, who the fuck does that?
Yeah. What up, folks? What's going on? Welcome to the Spun Today Podcast, the only podcast in the world that is anchored in writing, but unlimited in scope. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz, and I appreciate you listening. This is episode 194 of the Spun Today Podcast, and in this episode, I got to sit down and chop it up with La Chopis herself, a.k.a. Christy Medina from Pasadena, a.k.a. Christy, a.k.a. Wody, a.k.a. Christy Medina. Christy is a longtime friend. I've known her since my freshman year in high school, which was 1998. And I pulled out a calculator to calculate exactly how long that equates to. And I've known her for 23 years. In the beginning of the episode, actually, I broke down to her my recollection of like the first time that I met her. And she had absolutely zero recollection of any of it. So I'm either way off or misremembering, or Christy is completely wrong and I'm correct. I'm personally going to wager that it's the latter. Sorry, Wody. But Christy's definitely one of those types of friends that, you know, like when you meet someone and you like click with them immediately and it feels like you've known them forever. You guys are just like on the same frequency or like on the same vibe. And you're just like super cool off the bat. Never any static, any friction like throughout the entire time that you know them. And is also the type of friend that you can spend like a year without like seeing them or speaking with them. And when you do see them or speak to them, you fall right back into like the same old jokes and habits and catching up on bochinche. And it's as if you never stopped hanging out. And that's Wody. So it was definitely an absolute treat to be able to sit down and catch up. Now, Christy is very into marathon running. And she recently completed the Chicago Marathon, which is a pretty big deal. And I've known like tangentially that she's into like running marathons and stuff, but I didn't know to like what degree. Like, you know, you always see like posts and stuff by your friends like on Instagram and stuff like that. But I didn't know like how deep she was into it. But I learned that the Chicago one is a big deal, and I wanted to sit down with her and chop it up and see like what her experience was like and share with you folks. And as I did, I found out that she's run like about a gazillion different races besides the Chicago one. So we learned about a bunch of those. We learned about what her training was like for the Chicago Marathon as well as others. And also what like running a marathon during the COVID pandemic that, you know, we're still in. But while we were in the thick of it, you know, marathons were still going on, but they were done in a weird virtual kind of way. And she told us about that. We got to learn about like the different type of gear that marathon runners wear and the attire that Wody prefers. Shout out to Adidas. Hit me up if you want to sponsor Christy's next marathon or the Spun Today podcast. We learned about all that good stuff and a lot more, like all the fun stuff that she did in and around Chicago, the delicious deep dish pizzas that she had, the places that she visited, which reminds me, by the way, I ordered once Giordano's, and I was telling Christy this. I don't know if we spoke about it while recording or outside of it, but I remember I ordered Giordano's once, and it was super good. Like they do like this, you know, they cook it and like freeze it and ship it overnight, and you can just like pop it in the oven to warm it up. And obviously it's probably not exactly as how it tastes there, but it's fucking delicious. And somebody told me that there's another spot that's like famous over there called something with a P, Portano's or something like that. But I've been meaning to order their version of and trying it. And speaking about it right now, it just reminded me. So I'm making a mental note and thinking out loud. Anyway, leave it up to me to be introducing a podcast about marathon running and conditioning your body and supplementing that talk with deep dish pizza talk. But yeah, here's a little bit of background on the Chicago Marathon. The Chicago Marathon is a marathon held every October in Chicago, Illinois. It is one of the 6 world marathon majors, which Christy broke down for us during the episode. There's one in London, New York, Boston, Chicago, and I forget the other 2. I think Spain maybe might be one, and like Berlin or somewhere else in Europe. But we definitely touch on that. So the Chicago one is one of the 6 world marathon majors. And thus, it is also a World Athletic Label road race, which I have no idea what that means. Bodhi, please hit me up and let me know. And the Chicago Marathon is the 4th largest race by numbers of finishers worldwide. And just to give you an idea of the world records currently held for the completion of the Chicago Marathon, Dennis Kimetto holds the world record for males that was established in 2013 in completing the marathon in 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 45 seconds. And the course record for female completion is held by Paula Radcliffe, who completed it in 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 18 seconds. And that was in 2002. That's how hard this type of race is, not just to complete, but those world records have been in place for one since 2013 and the other since 2002. That's nuts. Anyway, I definitely had a blast getting to sit down and chop it up with Christy. Wody, thank you very much for taking the time and becoming part of the Spun Today family. I'm sure folks will get a ton out of this episode, as I did. But before we get into it, here is a very quick way that you all can help support the Spun Today podcast if you so choose. The Spun Today newsletter is available to each and every one of my listeners absolutely for free. All you have to do is go to spuntoday.com/subscribe and drop in your email address. What I'm going to do is brighten up everybody's least favorite day of the week by delivering 5 curated things within my weekly newsletter every Monday at noon. You're going to receive a photo of the week, a recommended podcast of the week. I listen to tons of podcasts from an array of varied interests. I cherry pick the very best ones so that you can check them out. I also share a video of the week, which can be anything from a tasty recipe to a dope rap battle to an enlightening TED Talk. I also share a quote of the week. And finally, for my fellow wordsmiths out there, a word of the week so that you can step up your vocab. Again, this curated list is yours absolutely free by going to spuntoday.com/subscribe and dropping in your email address. And you can unsubscribe at any time. Again, go to spuntoday.com/subscribe, drop in your email address, and you'll get the very next one. All right, folks, what's going on, Spun Today listeners? Today we have an absolute treat. My long time friend, Christy Medina, a.k.a. Wody, a.k.a. the Wodester, is here to tell us about her experience running the Chicago Marathon this year, as well as many others. I just saw a shitload of medals that she has hanging up in the room, and we're going to get into all that good stuff. But first and foremost, I just want to say, Christy, thank you very much for taking the time. Appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
You know, one of the first things I was thinking about before, recording this, on the way over here, and after, we spoke about recording this, was when I met you, which was, this is my recollection of it. Tell me if you remember. It was in Richmond Hill High School, and it was when me and Steve, you knew Steven from before, your families knew each other. Steven, a Spun Today alum, he's been on the podcast. So it was, I graduated in 2002, so in 98, that's when me and Steven were freshmen. We were going into Richmond Hill High School. You were a sophomore. And
yes, I was.
I remember, I think it was our first day. This is my first memory of it. I don't remember if it was actually our first day or what, but it was definitely the first time I met you. And you were not the hostess, but what do you call the concierge, in a hotel? You were literally showing us around the building.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, this is what I remember. I could be way off, but this is my memory. And it was you, me, and Steven, and we were walking around. You're like, yeah, if you guys want to go to the backyard, it's this way. If you take these stairs, it's a shortcut to get to the gym. This is Miss Rodriguez's office. We were walking this way, that way. You were like, if you guys want to cut, go through this way because the security guards is on the other side of the building at this time or whatever. And it was just like, you were like mad cool. Like we hit it off like from the beginning, and you know, it's been dope knowing you since then. So it's definitely cool to get to sit down and chop it up a bit.
Thank you. But honestly, I don't remember none of that. Wow. But if you said it happened, it probably did happen, yeah.
Imagine like, oh no, it was guess you're going to.
Yeah, no.
All right, so you did the Chicago Marathon this year. But before we get to all of that, I just wanted to ask you how you got into like marathons in general, because you've done it a bunch of times already, half marathons, full marathons. Just wanted to know a bit of like that background, like when you decided to like...
Well, correction. This was my first
full marathon.
Yes.
Which, for those listening that might not know, which I didn't know until about 5 minutes ago, a full marathon is how long?
26.2 miles.
26.2 miles. And a half marathon?
13.1.
Right. Makes sense. It's half.
Mm-hmm. Now that I've done like 6 of those, including 2 of those were virtual now because of COVID. So
how'd that work? Virtual?
I mean, so it's like New York Roadrunners. That's like what does all these races. And then they give you the option if you want to do, you know, the races. So then I did New York City half back in March. And then I did the Brooklyn half back in May. And it was just you, yourself, and all your thoughts. But 2 like virtual ones.
How does it work? You like, it's like on the honor system or something? You just go outside and run yourself?
No.
Like
so you have to download Strava, and then that connects to their system, to their website. And then, you know, you send them the information, and then like 2 months later, you get a medal. You get a bib and everything, but I didn't wear the bib. People don't need to know. Plus, it was cold outside, so I had on a jacket. And nothing. 2 months later, I got my little medals, and I was just like, okay, well, whatever. But the races were 2 months before, so it was just so weird. But I got it done.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
That's like an innovative way from like their end to like still, I guess, like have the events, right? Because like normally those are like normal events, so like with people at a certain,
like certain start time, certain place. Races. Yeah. So last year, the New York City Marathon itself was virtual, and imagine doing 26.2 miles on your own. That's like a total. I can curse on this, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So that's a total mind fuck, because at the end, you're just you and yourself, and you can stop running. Nobody's going to know. It's virtual. Like, who's there? But when you're in person, it's so much better because you have people cheering you on. Like, and it's just like...
You get that like positive like reinforcement.
Yeah, the enthusiasm of the crowd. And then at the end of the day, you just have all these people. Technically, you're running by yourself, but you're still not alone. You know? So
okay, so it is like everybody shows up at the same time or whatever.
No, if it's virtual, no, you're on your own. They give you a week to get it in, and then to get the numbers in. And I always used to do it the first day because I just wanted to bang it out. So that's virtual. But if you're like in person in a race, it's so much better because you have the crowd, you have the people, the runners.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So. And when you did do those virtual ones, was it at a specific location or you could just bang it out anywhere? Anywhere
you want. Oh, so it's virtual, gotcha. Yeah. But so the first one, so as you know, I live in Brooklyn. The first one I did it I did it in Highland Park. So 13.1 miles running around in Highland Park.
Just like on the track in Highland?
All of the, because technically it has like 3 different parks. Right. So
I know like the softball park or whatever. Like
so the first main one that everybody knows is the one right on Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm talking about.
And then the one on top, which is, I can never say this word, the reservoir. The reservoir.
Reservoir. Yeah.
So that one on top.
That's that like where those old like big mansions or whatever are.
No. It has like a lake, like an old school from back in the days. People, it's been around since like 1862, something like that.
Damn.
Yeah. People it was actually like a lake that you can go swimming. So they have like this track around it. It's like 1.8 or something, 1.2 miles, and it's just like a road, and it's a good area to run in. And then there's another park, that's the one that has like all the baseball fields where people park and they do the barbecue.
Oh, like by the Jackie Robinson.
That one. So technically, I consider like 3 parks in one.
Gotcha.
And that's where I did 13.1.
Where
in the middle of March.
On the 1.2 one, just running around, or you went to each one?
All 3 parks.
Oh, okay, nice.
Going around, yeah. And like I said, by mile 8, I was so bored. I was like, what the fuck? Why did I decide to do this?
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I paid my $80.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nothing, I think it was like 3 hours later, because like I said, I was bored. I would stop. I was like, there's so many steps and hills in Highland Park that people don't even know about. It was a good time, but like I said, it's a mind fuck. You're there by yourself. You can stop anytime. You can stop to watch, and you could just go home, and nobody knows. But I'm always
except
one that,
for you, and you gotta look at yourself in the mirror.
Once I start, I have to finish.
Yeah, no, that's true. If not, that David Goggins voice will kick in.
Yes. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done.
Right.
Yeah. And then the second one was the Brooklyn half. And for that one, I was like, I can't do Highland Park anymore. I was like, it's too crazy. So I ended up going to, I got off in Marcy on the J train right before the Williamsburg. And then there I just booked it. I did Williamsburg, the bridge. I did the bridge. And then I went down under by the water, went all the way down FDR to One World and came back up. And then I ended up in 38th and 2nd at my parents' house. Damn. And that was the Brooklyn half, and that I shaved off because that was better views and it was just so much fun. The weather was better.
Much more like scenic route.
Yeah.
Me and Pablo, another Spun Today alum, we've done the Williamsburg like bike riding, and we've done like the FDR. We've gone to like the Heights and ridden like our bikes like on the FDR or West Side Highway, like all the way straight down to the Freedom Tower and then back.
Yeah.
Like that's a dope one too.
Mm-hmm. And that one cool. I did it in 2:40. So because like I said, the scenery was better.
Was that 2 hours and 40 minutes?
2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah,
nice.
The Brooklyn half. Yeah, and then 2 months later you get the medal, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So now let's take it back a little bit. Do you remember when was your first marathon, and why you decided to like even do it?
My first race ever was it was the Queen's half. So out of everything, I've never ran a day in my life. And I was just like, I had just had eye surgery. And the doctor was like, you can't sweat, nothing whatsoever for like 2 months. And I was just like, this is crazy. I'm used to going to the gym and being super active.
Well, I like the LASIK?
No, I had the PRK. I was borderline glaucoma. Damn. So I had, one eye was, this eye was -10, this eye was minus 10.25 or something. And I had a second procedure on this eye. So for like 2 months, I would like wake up normal. At the end of the day, I would look like Forrest Whitaker.
Get the fuck out of here.
I have a picture
Have you
somewhere.
seen the Godfather of Harlem, by the way?
No.
I spoke about that show on the podcast. It's pretty dope.
So I was just like, this is crazy. So when I finally got the green light to go back to the gym, I was like, I have to do something different to shock my body. And there was something on Facebook that just popped up. Of course, big man's always watching. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden there's like a race that pops up into my feed. And I was like, I think I could do this. And by then it's like August and the race is in November. And I was like, I think I could train myself for this. And literally I Googled it, first time half marathon runner. And I just followed that schedule.
So like 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
And how much is it? 13.1 miles.
13.1. So yeah, I went from never running, never doing any race or anything to doing half marathon.
And what did you do? What was that training like? Do you remember like that first day you were like, all right, I downloaded this program or whatever to get me ready?
I think it was like run a mile, like at whatever pace, So, but then it had to be like legit the street because you can't do it in a treadmill because the day of the race, it's not going to be on a treadmill.
True, yeah.
So, and this was in November 2017, so 4 years ago. And legit 4 years ago. And I got to the point where I was just like, okay, I guess I'm going to do this. And I would just go to Highland Park. And that's where I did all my training. So it would be like first day 1 mile. Then the second day would be like strength training. Then the third day would be like, okay, run 1.5.
And it was like every single day or like spaces in between?
Yeah, some days you had rest days. Gotcha. And then straight like that for 3 months. And then I remember that day, it became real. And I was just like, I'm really doing this? Oh my God. And I remember waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Like, who the fuck does that? 5 o'clock in the morning to do this? And nothing. I went to, it was in Flushing Meadow Park.
Nice.
And I was like, and that park is that big? And whatever, 13 mile.
That's like one of those parks that you always pass on the highway, but you never really like.
Yeah, you just see the globe or the museum, and you're like, okay, whatever.
Oh, that was in Men in Black.
Yeah, yeah, the spaceships. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, okay, now I'm really gonna do this. Yeah, and my parents met me afterwards. My mom got me roses. My dad, of course, being a joker, he's like, she came in last place, which I didn't, by the way. And he was just cracking up. Like, he was just like, why you walking like a duck? Why you walking like you just ran a race? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, this motherfucker.
He's always good for a laugh, though.
Yes.
Shout out to Peter.
Yeah. He's my dad joke of the day. That's the reason why I started those. But yeah.
For those of you listening, Christy posts very regularly dad jokes of the day on Instagram, on her stories, and they're hilarious.
Yeah. And I got them from him.
So that was your first experience ever. How long after that were you like, yo, I want to do another one?
I got the bug right away. I don't know if you want to call it this, but like I became a medal whore. Nice. I wanted more medals and more shinier medals. And after that, I want to say I did that was November. The next race, I think maybe like a 10K that April.
Well, how many miles is a 10K?
A 10K is 6.2 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. So then
so the first one was 13.1 and the second one was
the second was a 10K,
okay.
yeah, 6.2. And then after that, it was just like I downloaded like the schedule for New York Roadrunners, and whatever race I was able to make because of my work schedule, I would just try to do. And then I would make a day of it. Like, okay, I just ran a race, so let me go do brunch, you know, show my medal around, you know, whatever. Nice. Yeah, and then some...
like, treat yourself.
Yeah, and then some races, they don't give you a medal, and then that's when I stopped. I was like, then I'm never going to do this race anymore. Got it, you know? Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty crazy. Do you have a favorite one from like those like earlier days?
Well, besides the Chicago one... I want to say my first one because honestly it's pretty dope. Since it was the Queen's Half, it has like the train. It has I think it's the 7 train because it was in Queens. The 7 train, something else. It has like the back in the days, you know, when you're watching Batman, the POW, you know, the kabam, whatever. It has something like that in the background. And it has glitter, you know, one of those flashy ones. So I think that's my favorite one.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And from then, which was 4 years ago, until now, you've done like how many? Do you know?
How many races? In total, I want to say like 16. Well, no, because remember some races didn't give you a medal, and I wouldn't do them again.
True.
So no, maybe like overall like 25 races, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I've gotten to the point where I just want to go to different places, different states. So if I'm gonna go to a state, it's because I'm gonna do a race, and then I'm gonna go sightsee.
Like taking, exactly, which I want to definitely ask you about. And that's actually something that I mentioned to Pablo when we had like a horrible experience this last 5 borough.
Yeah,
we barely
you did.
Trained.
Yeah, you did.
Yo, we woke up the day. I spoke about this on the podcast before, so if you've heard this before, my bad. But in a nutshell, long story short, we woke up. I got a tune-up on my bike like a couple days before. Everything was perfect. I wake up, go downstairs.
Everything was perfect.
I get the bike. Pablo's outside waiting for me. I bring it out. I have a flat tire. I'm like, what the fuck? We just got a fucking tune-up. Like, that doesn't happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then we went to the gas station, filled it up with air. It wouldn't take the air. Like,
but you said it was a different place that you had never been to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I told you I listened to you. What was that?
And then filled it up with air. It wouldn't take the air. Then eventually it took the air, and the other tire was like a little bit low. So I was like, let me just fill it up so it could be good. That one emptied out like immediately, and then it just wouldn't take air after that. And we tried. I called a few bike shops, but it was like way too early. It was like similar to what you said before. You got to wake up early. It was like 6 a.m. or some shit. You know, we didn't get to do it. No. But I did reach out to them, and I got them to take both of our payments for like the next one for like next year.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay.
So we're gonna do that. But I told Pablo maybe even before then, but like after that we should like try to do like something like that, go to a different state or like something like that, and do like a bike tour somewhere else, and it'll be like a dope like weekend or something, you know. It's cool.
Go to Jersey, it's right there.
True. Yeah.
So like for different states, well, I already went to Chicago.
How many was Chicago the first one?
My first one, outside of New York, and I already signed up for Miami half.
Nice.
Which is going to be in February. So I mean,
that's a perfect time to go.
Yeah.
When it's like brick over here.
Yeah, but then also it's like, I mean, how many times? I love Miami. I love Florida. But it's like, I've already been and done the whole party scene in Miami. So it's like, okay, let's do something different, you know?
True.
So it's like, hey, now let's go run the streets of Miami.
Taking the city like somewhere, a different way. Nice. And all right, so tell me about Chicago. When did you decide to do Chicago?
It wasn't really when. want to say maybe December 2020, right? So December 2020, one of my homegirls, Celinda, she is also part of like the running community, right? So she told me, why don't you put your name in the lottery for London Marathon, right? So these races are all part of the 6 world's major races.
I'm assuming the London one is in London?
Yeah, London is in London. Yeah, no. Yes, Tony, London is in London. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, I have an aunt that lives out there, so I figure I'll make a trip out of it or whatever. Yeah.
Nice.
And then when I go to Dominican Republic for Christmas, right, December 2020, she goes, oh, I put in a transfer. I'm going to be living in D.C. So I was like, this bitch.
Damn. How dare you?
Yeah, right.
You fucked up my marathon plans with your life.
I know, right?
With your life plans.
Fuck you and your job. You know, so then it got to the point where I put my name in for the lottery for London, and I did not get accepted. So
that was December 2020.
Yeah. No, it was the end of February. That's when you find out.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
So then my homegirl was like, so why don't you put in for Chicago? Because it's still open. And I'm like, fine, whatever. It is what it is. If I get in, if I don't. And then that's how it all happened. Damn. I put my name in for Chicago. And this girl telling me, yeah, do it. And then she doesn't even put her name in. This girl.
The audacity.
So I put in my name for Chicago, and I think towards the end of February, February 2021, that's when I found out. I got the acceptance. Congratulations.
So like a year later?
No, a couple of months later. So remember, I put in my name December 2020, and then you find out the end of February of 2021. Mm-hmm. Right.
Gotcha.
And that's when I got the, hey, congratulations, you have been accepted, and boom, right away they take your money from your card and all this. And I was like, oh, what? Oh my God, this is happening. And then so you find out end of February, and then after that, that's on you. Now you have to start your training. You have to figure out when you're gonna start. You're gonna have to figure out where you're gonna stay, because at the end of the day, it was a total of 33,000 people.
Damn.
And only 27,000 finished.
That's insane. And you were one of those 27,000?
Yes, I was.
Nice.
Yeah. That's how I got into Chicago.
And when was Chicago? How long ago?
Chicago was October 10th.
So you had, how many months is that?
Well, I officially started my training for Chicago was Memorial Weekend.
Okay.
That Monday from Memorial Weekend. And I did the same thing again. I Googled first time marathoners, and I just followed that to the T.
Nice.
It's not that I'm against getting a coach. I really do think that that's a good, idea.
Do a lot of people do that?
A lot of people do. The running community is really big, and they're really helpful, even though I didn't have a coach. But there are people that I follow that they gave me great advice. And then there's a lot of like running groups all around here. But I don't want to say that I'm an introvert, but I think I did become one after high school. I went from like super extrovert to introvert.
That was exactly me.
Yeah.
That's
and then I
never thought of you as an introvert though.
Yeah, I have become one. And it got to the point where I just love being by myself, and I like to do these things on my own as opposed to running in a group. So,
True.
Yeah, I would follow other people's advice, and yeah, I would practice them. But as for me, running with people or getting a coach, I just decided to do everything on my own.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. That's pretty cool.
It's your alone time.
Yeah, it's like a meditative type of experience. Like I get that like when I bike ride and stuff. Like I'll go with Pablo and we train together sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time we do. And we do the races together, but it's like we go together and we come back together. But in between, like we might meet up at a rest stop or two. Like if we call each other or text each other, he's usually like ahead of me. You know what I mean? But besides that, I'm like taking in the scenery, just like stopping and taking pictures if I feel like it. And
yeah, if you're in a group
and just like alone in your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, also you have different times. You know, there are people that are faster than you. There are people that are slower than you. There are people that want to chit chat. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
really don't care. I'm sorry that you want to get away. Maybe you have a lot going on in your house and this is your thing. But honestly, really?
It's like two dogs killing. It's like Michael Vick is outside somewhere. There's like two dogs killing themselves.
My bad. Right. There's a brawl going on outside. Yeah, I feel like some people, they want to be around others and they want to talk, and I know, I'm sorry.
This is like their escape, but for you, it's like something different. It's like, this is my like focus time.
Yeah, especially with my line of work. When I'm at work, I'm constantly on. I got to talk to people. I got to always be on the phone. I got to talk to this one, say hello to that one, always have a smile. And then once you're out of there, it's like, okay, I can take off this fake smile. Now I could be me, and this is my me time.
Right.
And then that's why I like to do it all on my own.
And that's important too, because like I recently heard this or read this, I don't remember, but like the difference between like an extrovert and an introvert. People know like an extrovert, like gregarious, life of the party, likes being around people and stuff like that.
You feed off of that.
Yeah.
Like that gives you life.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was gonna get at. I never heard it explained this way, is that like an extrovert, like they get energy from like other people, and that's why they like being like in parties and in groups, and like that like fills them up. An introvert, that drains them, like when they're around like groups of people and stuff like that. But an introvert, when they're alone, when they're like doing their thing, running by themselves, bike riding, listening to a podcast, like writing, whatever, an introvert, that's the way that they get their fuel. That's the way that they get filled up, to be able to deal with being in groups of people and stuff like that, and then they get drained on that end. You know what I mean? And it's like vice versa. So I definitely get that.
Yeah, how the times have changed.
Word.
Yeah.
And it's part of, just like evolving as a person, I guess. And not that it's one way is like good or bad or whatever, everybody to each their own, but it's just people change in different ways, Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about in terms of like Chicago itself. So tell me, after you book actually, let me take a step back, because there's a question I keep telling myself that I want to ask you and I keep forgetting. What is that? You mentioned like the big 6 races, London and... Okay, so
what is that mean? So it's the world's majors. There's 6 major races in the world, and not that many people, of course, because a marathon is like 1% of the world, people that complete. So 6 world major races are New York City, Berlin, London, Tokyo. You have Boston and Chicago.
Wow.
Am I missing one? I think I'm missing one. Or
Chicago, Boston, New York,
Berlin,
Berlin,
Tokyo.
And Tokyo.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
You got it.
So once you complete all those races, then you get this huge ass fucking medal that has like, I'll show you. It has like little medals, and and of all the places that you did it, like their skyline kind of thing.
Nice.
And then it says you're a world's major. And honestly, it's not even that shit must be super costly. Costly, like time consuming, whatever. But like, hey, if you're about this lifestyle, then it's just another race,
Right.
But
and that's a huge accomplishment too.
Yes, exactly. So,
is that like a plan of yours? To like try to hit,
I want to say I would
majors?
love to. It's a great way to travel also. But I don't know. I mean, Boston is a unicorn, and honestly, I don't know. I think I would have to be reborn again to do that one. But let's see, But yeah, I would love to do at least all 5 of them if I can. I already have one.
If you do 5, you got to wind up doing the
I know,
last
right?
one.
Yeah,
that'll eat at you. Is Boston like the hardest of all of them because it has like that qualifying thing?
I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if it's 3 hours or 3:30 that you have to complete the 26. But like right now, the year that just passed for 2021, they just opened it up for everybody. And so many people went, and if I would have known, maybe I would have put in for that one as opposed to Chicago. And maybe that's it. That would have been like, I mean,
you would check that one off the list.
Yeah, but you don't want to start off so high,
Yeah, true. You want to work your way up to that.
Yeah. But let's see. You never know. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years, and you never know. You truly never know. And I already have. I put in, mind you, even before I did Chicago, I already put in for London again for 2022.
Nice.
So even though I was in so much fucking pain after Chicago, but I was like, fuck it. It was just, you get that runner's high. It's like you want to do another one and you want to do another race. And yeah. I was back to running a week after.
Damn. Yeah. That's insane.
I ran today.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you do today at Highland?
No, actually, I went to the gym. I did 4 miles. 4 miles with like random hills. But yeah, so it's just, well, remember I got February coming up. So you just constantly always training.
Nice. Now, tell me, what did you do after you booked everything? How long before did you get to Chicago?
I booked everything. I want to say maybe June, even though the race was in October. I booked everything. I got an Airbnb, which, by the way, if you do that, you have to get like a wash and dryer because you sweat
in the
so much.
Airbnb?
Yeah, in the Airbnb. Yeah. It's just so convenient. So I booked everything like June just because it's so many people. Like I said, 33,000 people. That's not even including the people that are there to like be there.
Put on the event and stuff.
Well, not even that, but like my mom went with me, my friend, and my cousin. The
like
spectators.
Everybody's like supporting and shit.
Yeah,
it's just 33,000 runners plus 33,000 like friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they know. So everything's like super expensive. So you have to book ahead. So yeah. So from June to October, I booked right away.
How long before did you like get there? Like how many days before the actual marathon?
I got there Friday morning. Maybe like 8 o'clock in the morning. They tell you to get there maybe like 2 days before. You want to have like, which technically I should have gotten there Thursday. They tell you should, and as for I mean like, following all the guidelines and the coaches and what, the advice, that you should get there maybe like 2 nights before so that you can get a good 2 nights sleep. I know you're going to have the jitters, you're scared, you're nervous, you're anxious. So at least if you're there, you already know that you're in the location. And, you get a good 2 nights sleep, True. But I got there Friday, and I went straight to the expo. And then this is where, like, they give you the bib, they give you the T-shirt, they give you all this, And then that's like a runner's paradise because they start giving you, like, a bunch of free shit. Oh, try this. Maybe you can try this and whatever.
And try to sell you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Even though you never want to try anything new the day of the race.
True.
But yeah, so, and then they sell stuff like for like discount, like old sneakers, or not even old sneakers, but like sneakers that were like good like 3 years ago. They're like, oh, but they're not the popular ones now, but you get a good discount. Yeah. Yeah. So I got there Friday morning.
And it was on Sunday?
And it was on Sunday, yeah. And Chicago, the windy city, it was 86 and fucking humid.
Damn.
It was the worst. People were laid out, like from heat exhaustion. There was one girl by like mile 4 or 5. She was already throwing up on the side. I was like, yeah, it was, and then they told you by the time we started, we were on level. There were 4 levels. It was like white, cool, go ahead, guys. Level yellow, it was like not conducive for like runners. For a marathon, right? Yeah. Level red, it was like, oh, slow down, like you guys are really fucking crazy type of thing. And by the time we were in the middle of the marathon, it went to level red. And then level black was like don't fucking run. Yeah. Yeah.
And the levels are based on like the temperature and
humidity, all that stuff, yeah. So, yeah, it was in the windy city, 86 degrees and fucking humid.
That sucks. Yeah.
But
that's bad luck right there.
I was like, what? I mean, luckily it was like Chicago was just straight flat, so it was okay. Not in major hills or nothing. But still, running 26.2 miles in that heat, it was. Yeah, it was
that shit
not
takes
pretty.
a toll. Just 26.2 miles in perfect conditions. It'll take a toll on you.
56 degrees, honestly, would have been perfect for me. Go figure. But yeah,
imagine on top of that with like.
And then they say that your body heats up like anywhere from 15 to 20 like degrees more. So imagínate.
Damn.
Yeah.
What was the actual start time? Do you remember?
So I was in the second choral. So they have chorals depending on, or third choral, depending on your pace. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's like the handicapped people. The ones on the bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
So they go first. And that was like I said.
When I do the 5 bar and shit like that, they call it waves.
Yeah, the waves.
Different tiers, right?
So they went first at 7:30. No, I'm sorry, at 7 o'clock. Then the elite runners, they were like at 7:15, 7:20 kind of thing. Then there was like another one at 8. So by the time it was my turn, it was like 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah. So 8:30 in the morning, I was just like, oh my God. Once I passed security, I was like, I almost wanted to cry. I was like, oh, fuck, this is happening? Oh, my God.
At which point did you, because I always wonder this, like, people that go with you to, like, cheer you on, like your mom and your cousin and stuff, at what point do you, like, disconnect from them? Like, do they go with you to the start offline and say, okay, see you later, and then you see them when they come back, or do they drive and meet you somewhere or something?
No, so honestly, my homegirl went with me just because she's my photographer. So she went with me, and they wanted us to be there at 6:30. I was like, I'm not gonna be fucking standing around for 2 hours. Get the fuck out of here. No.
Yeah.
I got there at like 7:30. So she walked with me up until the gates, and once I passed security, that's it. She couldn't go through no more.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom and my cousin, they met me later on, clearly. But I think it was like by mile 4, we were supposed to. So we had like, the plan was they were going to meet me at like 4, then mile 12, because the way the race was, they were going to be able to like cut across like a bridge and then meet me by mile 12, right?
Oh, okay. So they could like drive to a spot, park, and then.
No, everything was shut down. You could only get through by like public transportation.
Oh fuck.
Even though they made a mistake and they took an Uber and it was like $80.
Damn.
Yeah.
They beat you over the head because they know.
So they were like, "Oh no, we're gonna meet you at X spot." So instead of mile 4, I'm like doing my thing, and I'm just like, "Okay, I'm gonna meet them at mile 4," and I'm mad hype. Mile 4, I'm like, "Where the fuck are you guys?" And they're like, "No, everything's closed, so we're just gonna meet you at mile 10." And I was like, that just fucking threw me off.
Damn.
Because. Like I said, it's my first one. I'm nervous. It's another city. It's fucking hella hot.
Yeah.
And
if you're anything like me, like you like plan something a certain way, and if that
Yes.
doesn't go right, it like throws shit off. It's like fuck.
Yeah. So after that, I was just like, oh my God. So now I don't have anything to look forward to. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. Then I'll meet them at mile 10 or whatever. So mile 10, that's when I bumped into them. They gave me like a little Gatorade bottle, mind you. So when I do these races, I call it a catered run. To be honest with you, you got porta potties everywhere, so you don't have to worry about, oh my God, where's the next bathroom stop or whatever. Because
it's not just like at every rest stop or whatever.
No.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't like to talk about when it comes to running. There's a lot of TMIs. But yeah.
Tell us all.
I will. So I was like, fuck it. They're not here in mile 4. Fine, whatever. Let me just go pee real quick. And then let me just keep on going. And I was doing really good with times, right? And then by mile 10, when I bumped into them, they gave me a Gatorade. But like I said before, it's a catered run. So like every mile and a half or every 2 miles, there's hydration stations.
Gotcha.
Water, Gatorade, and they're just handing them out to you. But like there's so many people that are there for us that there are people just handing you regular bottled water.
Gotcha.
So I'm just like
people working the event or just like bystanders?
Bystanders. Like people are just there to cheer us on. It was just like a different kind of love I've never seen.
Nice.
So some guy was like, here. I was like, yeah, I'll take a bottle of water because mile 10, whatever, you know. And then those stupid little flimsy cups, like, you can take, it's like 2 sips, whatever, right? So I took the bottle of water from him. And then by the time I met up with them, it was mile 10, which I loved. Mile 9 through 11 was like the West Village, you can say. So they had a show, a drag show. They had a stage.
You mean like scenery-wise, you loved it?
No, the people.
Okay.
They were fabulous. So they were out. They were cheering us. They had 2 stages. They were dancing. It was like a drag show. It was amazing.
Nice.
And I was like, damn, I wish I could stay here with you and twerk, whatever. But, you know, so then I saw my mom. I saw my friend. They gave me Gatorade, and then I kept on going, whatever. And they were like, all right, we're going to meet you at mile 20. So my friend is part of a Willpower, which is a running group. And that's their cheering station. So she was like, we'll go there, and you know, you could say that's her family. So she's like, we'll be there. And I'm like, all right, fine. So from mile 10 to mile 20, that's it. It was just me.
Damn.
Of course,
which is similar to like the first time.
Yeah. But they fucked me up because remember they told me mile 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So the whole time I was like mile 4. So then like little by little they're texting me, hey, how you doing? How you holding up? Whatever. And I'm only talking to them, my cousin, my friend, and my mom. That's it. Nobody else. Nobody else mattered because I needed, at the end of the day, I needed to know once I finished or if anything went wrong, I needed them to come get me.
Right. True.
You know.
While you're running, like, do you like carry like a water bottle with you or anything at all, or you don't have to because
I have. It's a running belt. Okay. Carry my phone. Carry energy gels.
Right.
Which, by the way, I will never have Gatorade ever again in my life.
Really? Like the gels, the Gatorade energy gels?
I was drinking Gatorade at the stations, the hydration stations, and I had Gatorade energy gels. Ugh, I can't even fucking...
Like the taste of them?
The taste, I can't. It was just, it was so much fucking Gatorade. Yeah. I can't, no more. I know I needed it for that, but after that, I was like, that's it. I can't. No more.
Because it gives you like fast, like carbs, like energy to like burn and stuff, right? Yeah. I was looking for that before.
I have two left if you want. I will never eat them again.
And I couldn't find them anywhere. I don't know. Where'd you get them?
On Amazon.
At the pharmacy? Oh,
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, you could go like Jackrabbit, the New Balance store. They sell them. They also sell like these like fucking honey stingers, whatever. All kinds of shit. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go crazy. Yeah. But it literally tastes like a Gatorade. You're just like, it's just so thick. And honestly, I can't. Now, just thinking about it, I want to gag. Because it was just like, I can't. It was just so much fucking Gatorade.
You know what I did get though? Have you ever heard of Liquid IV?
Yeah.
It's like a powder you put in water and hydrates you like 3 or 4 times, like more than water or whatever.
I remember seeing this one bendito. He was some Spanish guy. He was running. He was so cute. He had his 2 little coconut waters, and I was like, "You smart. You smart. I should have done that. I love coconut water."
Yeah, hell
yeah. So that was mile 10 to 20. By mile 20,
how'd you feel? Did you have between? All right, so. From mile 0 to mile 20, did you have like any problems, any issues besides like them not being there? Mile 4, that was already like one mind fuck. Did you feel bad? Did you like hurt yourself? Like anything at all?
Prior to the marathon, so like 2 weeks before, they tell you to have to kind of like taper down your runs, right? Less mileage, don't go as fast. Like reserve. You've already done the training. Just reserve those 2 weeks. And then that's it, and then you're gonna do the marathon, right? But I was mad hyped in one of my runs. I don't know what the fuck happened, and I just booked it. I was like, fuck it. I was going extra fast, and I was just enjoying.
Like feeling yourself a little bit.
Yeah, and plus the weather was great. Like it wasn't fucking hot anymore. It was like a nice September breeze. It was great. And I came back home and I was like, oh man, my hip.
Damn.
Yeah. First of all, we're not spring chicken anymore, Tony. Okay. And then ever since then, I was just like, oh my God, my hip. I ran one more time after that. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was limping like hard. I was limping really bad. I was like,
damn.
Yeah. So
how long before the
maybe like a week and a half before the marathon. Yeah. And I was like, this is to the point where like this was the side. I was rubbing icy hot on myself like before I went to sleep. And I couldn't even turn myself to this side because it was hurting so much.
Diablo.
And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm so close to this. Like, I can't believe that this might be what's not going to let me run. So there's this guy, he works for like this Unity Electric or whatever in my job. And he's ran before and he gave me advice throughout the whole running thing. And he was like, hey, you okay? Because I see you limping. I was like, I don't know, Pete, this and this is going on. And he told me, you know what? Just chill. Stretch. Ice up. Whatever. Don't run. That's it. You already done the training. Just fucking wait until the marathon. And I was like, you sure? But I have like 2 more runs to do. He was like, don't do it. Don't do it because those runs might just hurt you. And then that's it, So I listened to him, and I was just icy hot all the time, massaging myself. I have a gun, the
I got one gun. Of those. Mad good, by the way.
Yeah. And then from there, up until like the marathon, my mom, those 2 days, she was like giving me massages, and then I was like, fuck it. It's either when
do
I
was that time.
Yeah. The whole time, my fucking hip never bothered me. Never.
Nice.
And I was like, oh,
shout out to Pete.
Yeah, shout out to Pete. Yeah. Then it was my knees. Awesome. Like mile 20. I was like, my fucking knees. That was crazy. Then they had bio-free stations. So I went to every bio-free station. I was like, give me that shit. I would put it on my knee. I would just put it on my hip just in case.
What is that bio-free? Just like the lotion
like an
or whatever?
Hot kind of thing, yeah. So it helps you. And then I was telling the girl, I was like, oh, but it's like my hip and I don't know what am I going to do. The girl's like, fuck it, just lift up your shirt and do it. And she was like, some guy just put icy bio-freeze in his ass crack. And I was like, what? Okay, then my hip isn't so bad.
True.
Yeah. Yo, the shit that you saw. So I think there was like 4 stations of biofreeze after that, and then there was one where they sprayed you. Yo, that shit really helped me.
Nice. Because that just like kills the pain, right? It's
Yeah.
like
It
lighter
kind of
pain,
like
like
numbs
type of thing.
it for a bit, yeah. And then after that, honestly, from mile 20 on, it was just I started like running, walking. I was like, yeah, I was over it by then.
Yeah, it was 6.2 miles left.
Yeah,
right?
and I was like, I was over it, but I needed to get it done. I mean, I came so far.
Yeah, hell yeah. Especially after 20 miles, yeah.
Yeah.
You crawled to the fucking finish line at that point.
Yeah. So I remember telling my cousin, like, you need to charge the JBL speaker. I was like, you need to charge it. And she's like, don't worry about us. Worry about yourself. And I was like, no, because you guys you're not going to just meet me every 5 minutes. It's going to take a while for me to get to you guys. I want you guys to also help out other people. God forbid it's me. You want the other people to help,
True.
you know? So by the time I met up with them, so they never met me up at mile 20, right? They said they were going to meet me up at mile 20. They never met me up.
Why? What happened there? Do you know?
My friend was like, oh, the trains and the cabs or whatever. Some shit she told me. And she was like, we'll just meet you at kilometer 40. I was like, this bitch. What the fuck? You know what? Kilometer 40? That's like 24.5.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ya,
That's
pero
like at the end?
al final,
Yeah.
what the fuck? So I was like, what? So I remember after mile 20, at mile 20, I started running and walking. And I called my mom. I was like, yo, I gotta pee. So mind you, I haven't peed since mile 4. And I'm drinking all this shit like, Gatorade water.
Damn, since mile 4 you hadn't peed?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
So,
Just squat on the side of the road?
No. Remember, they had porta potties.
True, okay.
So then I'm like, yo, like, I'm hurting right now. Mile 22, my knees, the fucking biofreeze isn't working anymore. And then I tell my mom, I call my mom. I was like, Mommy, I don't think I'm gonna, if I go pee and I sit down, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get up. And she was like, okay, so we'll start walking towards you backwards, you know, because remember, they were by mile 24. And then I go real quick and I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm ready. Whatever. I got like that fucking 18th wind.
Nice.
By then. And I was like, no, stay where you are. I'm gonna make it.
That was that like David Goggins moment.
Yeah.
When the governor in your head or whatever.
What is it when you think you're like 60%, but you still got more in your tank?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you think you're done, you're really only at 60%. You can keep going.
And then I started running again. I met up with them at mile 24.5, and these bitches are dancing in the middle of the street. They're like telling everybody, cheering them on. It was cute. It was like, you see, I told you needed that speaker.
Nice.
And then they started walking with me. Right? Because at that point, I was like, yeah, I see you guys. That's it. I'm home. Yeah. But I'm not, because I'm at mile 24.5. And then from there, they started walking with me. They gave me oranges because I was fucking hungry.
Yeah.
There were people like through the route handing out like peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I was like, yeah, I know you guys have good intentions, but I don't know you.
Yeah, true.
Handing out. Yo, by like mile 21, there was like a household that apparently they're known for handing out moonshine shots.
Damn.
I know.
You didn't do that either?
Nope. And there was another family handing out tequila shots. I was, no. By like mile 25, so I'm with my family now. We're walking. They're like trying to cheer me up, like entertaining me. I'm eating the oranges that they got me. And then there was this house or like this, no, I think it was like a bar. They were handing out PBRs. And then my cousin's like, you don't want a beer?
Oh, the beers?
Yeah. And I was like, no. I was like, no, I just want to fucking be done with this shit. Like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
And then that little bit of walk, I want to say maybe like half a mile that they walked with me, or I don't know, whatever. By like mile 26, that's it. I'm almost done. The cops are like, you guys got to get out. If you're not running this, get the fuck out. Like, that's it. And then after that, I booked it. 200 meters more. I was like, that's it. And then I fucking finished.
Nice.
And mind you, when I turned...
How did that feel?
First of all, when I turned, I saw a Dominican flag. And I was like, what? Dominicans in Chicago? Yeah. And nothing. I fucking ran and I was just like, I can't fucking believe I did this. I thought I was going to cry. And I did not.
You serious?
I didn't.
I feel like crying right now. I can't believe you didn't
cry. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it never hit me. I don't know if maybe I was just
Still like taking it all in.
Yeah, I don't know, because and then okay, you're done, right? You're crossing this fucking huge line. They say your name, you know, whatever. Everybody, literally everybody that passes, they say their names, you know.
Damn.
Oh, Christy Medina, New York, whatever. Hector from the Bronx, whatever, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
They do. They say your name, but I was just like, where the fuck is my medal? I want to get out of here. Like, I just wanted my medal. And then they start giving you all the shit. They give you like a little bag with like snacks, like with bananas and apples.
Nice.
Where the fuck is my medal? You gotta keep on walking. Then they give you that little blanket. Where the fuck is my medal? Like
that shiny,
that silver thing. And I just keep on walking and walking, and boom. Then I finally see the people handing out the medals, and I was like, oh. But at this point, I'm so hot. I'm tired. I could barely walk. Like, and then before you know it, there's like this big sign that says 27 miles. Because you keep on walking until you get to the end, right?
So from 26.2, by the time you got to that, it was 27. Damn.
Because they tell you that they were going to have like a concert afterwards. And they're like, oh, by mile 27. The fuck wants to stay here for a concert?
That's nuts.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, there's only this way. Like, so they direct you where to leave. And then as soon as you're trying to leave the park, you see people fucking flat out everywhere, like on the lawn. They can't get up. They're like waving for like paramedics. They're like, yo, I can't get up. Help me. No, there were a lot of people just like flat out done. They couldn't get up. They couldn't anything. And then once I saw my family, I was like, oh my God. I was like, fuck, stairs. I could barely walk, and now I gotta go down some fucking stairs.
Lift your leg.
Oh man, I had to walk backwards because like it helps or whatever. Yeah. But I saw some crazy shit. Like, there was a guy dressed up as a priest through the run.
Really?
There was a guy wearing jeans. I saw a couple of guys without sneakers, like barefoot. There was a lady, TMI, running in front of me.
Taking the shit on the side of the road?
No, she probably didn't even realize, and she has shit stains coming down her leg.
Ah, damn.
And I was like, oh.
I heard that.
Ain't no leakage right there.
Yeah.
She probably didn't even know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I saw guys with like bloody nipples because of all the chafing. Yeah.
Oh, word. That's the thing, right? You're supposed to put like Band-Aids like on your nipples and stuff?
Yeah, that's a thing. Well, for guys, like some people, they forget that that's a thing. But then also,
because you use like sports bras or whatever.
Yeah, for us it's different, but like for guys, yeah. And like I said, people were just like dropping on the side of the road.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, in the Windy City, who'd have thought 86 and humid? Like it was bad.
That just made it that much worse, but congratulations, yo. That's awesome.
Thank you. I never looked or felt so ugly afterwards. Yo, bro, you know when you sweat and you dry up? I had like all of this.
Just like caked on.
Yeah, it was cake, and then I looked like I had dandruff, and it wasn't. It was just all that sweat. I was like, my mom was like, let's take a picture for the family. I was like, what?
Nah.
I was like, no, you better put a filter.
How good did it feel taking a shower afterwards? Like when you finally got back to the Airbnb?
So, you know how they say you have to take like an ice bath? The Airbnb.
Do they really?
That's what they, because it's supposed to help you. So instead, I had to improvise because I just had a shower. I didn't have a bath, right? So we bought ice packs, whatever, ice bags. And then I just sat on the toilet and they just put the bags on my thighs.
Damn.
Hella ghetto, but whatever, it worked.
It worked?
They wrapped my feet in ice. I did that for like 15 minutes. And then I told my mom, I was like, you're going to have to watch me shower. Because I couldn't, my thighs, I felt like they were going to give out on me. And I don't want to be that person like, boom, you hear it. And they're like, oh, this bitch fucking fell. I want to avoid that,
Sure.
Yeah. But it was great to take a shower, but it was so painful.
Damn.
Yeah, everything hurt. Everything.
How long after? Like, me imagino like that day you just like stayed home, sleep.
No.
Chilling,
did you guys go out? Whatever. I took a shower. Whatever. I was laying out on the couch.
What time is it by the time you guys were done?
I think. Well, by the time we got back to the Airbnb, it was like 3, almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
So yeah. And by the way, my time was like 5:30, 5:40. I can't honestly say that I know, because apparently there was another Christy Medina.
Really?
From Florida.
Damn.
And people, because if you downloaded the app, you can track the person. You put the name or you put the bib number, right? And people were texting me like my mile 20, congratulations, you finished. And I was like, what? No, like I'm still running. And they're like, it says you finished. And it was Christy Medina from Florida. That bitch. But yeah,
taking all your shine.
Yeah. So I don't know my time, honestly. But by the time we got to the house, it was like 4:00 in the afternoon.
Nice. Okay.
And so my mom made like really good Dominican food, whatever. And then afterwards they started playing Parcheesi, as my ass is like, I can't move. But then like every hour they would make me walk around the apartment. And then
just to get like your blood flow going.
And I wouldn't be as sore. And then honestly, dude, the next day I was walking. I was walking hella slow, but I was walking.
Yeah.
That's all that mattered. Yeah, and then by Tuesday...
Yeah, that sleep, that recovery.
And then also remember my mom was helping me with massages and stuff like that. It got to the point where like by Tuesday, like when I came out like from taking a shower, I started like walking to them and dancing. I was like, yo, what are we going to do? What are we going to party? And they were like, this bitch. And I was like, yo, the training really, like if you trust the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just like in anything else, trust the process. And the day of, like you were saying, like right before the race, it's not like when you were hurt and Pete told you, yeah, you put in the work or whatever. Like you're gonna see the results the day of. Like you're not gonna gain anything from like killing yourself the last like week or two. That's true.
That's why they always say like tapering down, like those 2 weeks. A lot of people go crazy. Like they're scared because it's like I'm not gonna be running as much. Like this is crazy. But you have to trust the process. Like you've done the work. Now you just have to let your body heal and like recover. And then the day of, showtime, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Even like when we do like the 5 borough, like it's similar. Like we'll go out one day and do like 10 miles.
Which by the way, I keep on telling you, I'm gonna join you. So for the next one.
We'll do like 10 miles, and the week after that we'll do 15. Then we'll work our way up, and then like a week or two before, like we just won't go anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's a similar thing. Now I'm gonna pause this real quick, and when we come back, I want to ask you about what you did in and around Chicago while you were there.
Got it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, we're back. So one thing, we were just chopping it up a bit. I forgot to ask you before, which I wanted to ask you if you had like a favorite pair of sneakers and like stuff like that. And we were talking about a little bit about like the expenses of like running these races and shit like that. So tell me a little bit more about that and your orange sneakers.
Hey, they're bright pink.
Okay.
Or coral, whatever the fuck color that
Burnt
is.
orange.
Yeah. So people think that because you're running outside, it's cheap. It really isn't. You gotta get the proper gear, and then you gotta also exchange them from time to time, a certain amount of mileage, you know? So my favorite, I don't know, I've become a big, shout out to Adidas. I've become a huge Adidas fan. And my favorite sneakers are Adidas Ultra Boost. And those, I bought the bright pink ones that you see. But I also bought them in the newer year, for 2021, the Ultra Boost, the same fucking sneaker, but 2021 in black. So I bought those. I bought like a pair of, I think it was like a total of 4, $200 each.
Fuck.
Like, yeah. You gotta be comfortable. You gotta make sure like you're putting all these mileage. And another thing that people don't really talk about is that like with all the running, they say that your toenails can fall off.
True.
Right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Right. And that was the first thing I thought when I got after the marathon and I was about to take a shower. I was like, yes, I got on my toenail.
Nice.
But because I am following everything to the T, like I'm making sure that these sneakers fit me properly and, you know, like good stuff. Getting the proper socks. You also have to get like proper socks too. People don't think about all that stuff. Yeah. Like
what kind of socks do you have to get?
So like anything that's like dry fit. So,
okay.
like, it's going to dry right away. It's going to dry up right away. But, yeah, like I said.
The moisture wicking, like, types.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm a big, huge Adidas fan. Adidas and Under Armour, my two go. I've spent so much money. Like, now, honestly, whenever I'm online, it's, like, either workout gear or sneakers, which is so weird. But, yeah, so those are my two goes. Adidas, they have everything and anything you can need. It's gotten really expensive.
That's nuts, though.
Yeah.
Because it's also like we were just saying, it's like you're buying something expensive already, but like to fuck it up. Because you know you're going to like put miles on it and run with it and get it dirty and scuffed up and like messed up and have to throw it out and get another one.
Yeah. So basically, I would definitely get those pink sneakers over and over again. I just want to be that obnoxious. That's how bright they are.
They are mad bright.
Yeah.
Folks listening, if you guys want to see it, go to spuntoday.com/podcast/194. This is going to be episode 194. And Christy's going to hook us up with some pictures so you guys can see like her entire journey from the marathon and stuff like that. But definitely how bright they are. They're going to light up the website.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, you think you're running outside, but it's honestly, you need the comfort, so it's gotten very expensive. And then the trips, too, like, Chicago
not to mention that,
Chicago itself, like, and then I took my mom, so it's like, I booked the trip for my mom, my mom, the marathon itself, like, all the gear that I bought, like, the Airbnb, like, fuck. Even though I did have my cousin and my friend come and join us, I only planned just for me and my mom. No matter what. So, it was cool that they could help out a little bit. But, this shit gets expensive.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's dope, though. It must have been a dope experience, though. Sounds like a dope experience, which I want to hear more about. I want to hear more about Chicago because I haven't been there myself. I've heard it's a dope town. I want to hear, like, any sites that you took in, the food, the deep dish pizza, which I think I've posted maybe... Well, I definitely posted on my personal Instagram. I don't know if I ever put it on like the Spun Today Instagram, but like Chicago had, it's known for like their deep dish pizzas, and they have some of their like famous spots that do like overnight delivery or whatever. Like they'll like cook it and like freeze dry it, and you just have to like pop it in your oven. I've tried that once before. I've been planning to do it again because it was actually really good. But I imagine being there in person is like way better and like a dope experience, right? So tell me about that.
Super delicious. Holy fuck, right? So after the marathon, because you burn so many calories, you have to carb load. So they say carb load before, and then you also have to get all that energy back. I just honestly, I'm in Chicago. I want to try anything that Chicago has to offer, and that's one of them.
They're also known for hot dogs, I've heard.
Yes, but I honestly didn't get to have them. I'm not a big fan of hot dogs, to be honest with you. Like, unless you're at a baseball game, then that's a different story. Gotcha. Of course, hot dog and a beer. But no, I'm in Chicago. I'm like, I just know that they're known for their pizza. I have to try this. And I ended up having 2 slices, and I was like, yo, fuck this shit. I ran a marathon. Fuck you. Like, I'm celebrating. It was really delicious. Holy fuck. It takes like about 45 minutes. Like when you order it, they tell you ahead of time, like you're gonna order, but you're gonna wait a while. And
after you're like at the table and stuff?
Yeah. Damn. If that's what you're gonna order, they tell you right away. They're like, okay, you want a deep dish? It's gonna be about 45 minutes. You know that, right? And we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll have another beer.
Nice. Yeah.
But it was good. It was literally lived up to its expectations.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And what else? You went to Giordano's, you said, right?
Yes, Giordano's. It was right around the corner from our Airbnb.
Nice.
But I did the Sky Deck, which was... I can show you pictures. It was the funniest experience.
Send us all the pictures. Yeah. I'm going to post them at spuntoday.com/podcast/194 for folks to check out.
But I did Sky Deck on Saturday, right? Remember, I got there Friday. Sky Deck I did on Saturday with everybody.
That's where everything is glass and you're like, you could oversee like the whole city, right?
It's like the Edge here in New York, right?
Which I've never been to, by the way, which is a shame.
So then, so I did the Sky Deck, and it was the day before the marathon. You're supposed to be relaxing. You're supposed to be home. Quédate en tu casa, tate quieta, basically. Y yo, I'm like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I was all over the fucking place, right? But then I started to feel it. Like, I can tell that I was being nervous, I was being anxious, and like kind of snappy at my family. And then I was just like, yo, I need to go home, right? And these bitches are like, no, but we want to go to the Sky Deck. And we need this. So we go to the Sky Deck, and I'm not fearful of heights, but I'm also respectful, right?
True.
Right? So then all of a sudden, like, we're on the line, and it's like a fucking almost 2 hours. So now I'm getting even more annoyed, waiting, and it's just, whatever, right? So we're there.
And it was a weekend, right? It was like Saturday.
It was Saturday,
okay.
yeah. And then, so it's not only just a weekend, but it's marathon weekend. So you have all these extra people. So my mom's like, oh, like, are you feeling okay? And like, that's annoying me even more. I'm like, no, I'm good, right? But like, I'm trying not to snap at her. And like, I just have the marathon in my head. And I'm like, I should be home. I should be in a fucking couch. I should be resting, right? So whatever, by the time we get up there, we start like making this like line, kind of like if you're in TSA to get to the airport, because that's how long the wait was. And we're there, and then my mom starts getting closer, and she's like, yo me voy a quitar los zapatos y la media. And I was like, for what? And she was like, whatever, right? Anyways, so when like we get random. There, yeah, why you gotta be that person with your toes out? Like, I don't get it. So when we're there, all of a sudden, like, I guess my mom didn't understand that there's no fucking floor and you're just sitting down. And she just, like, got on the floor and didn't move. And I was like, and I was like, you gotta pose because they give you 2 minutes, right?
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you that if there's, like, a time limit.
Yeah, so you're there 2 minutes and I'm like, yo, snap, move. She's like, no. And she's just like frozen. And I was like, what's wrong with you? You look like you're looking for $5 that you lost. And she was like, this bitch with her toes out. Like, what's wrong with you? It was the funniest thing in life. And then, like I said, I'm respectful, right? So I'm there. And there's a girl, like the professional girl. She's like, okay, let's take a picture of you three. And that's the picture that you saw over there in the room.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, girls, you have to, like, go all the way back. And I was like, yeah, I am. And she was like, you haven't moved. I was like, no, I have.
In my mind, I have.
Nah, bitch, I am scared right now. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, that was funny. Skydeck was it was good. The line, not so much. But like I said, I went for the marathon weekend, right. So that's a different story. But Skydeck, I mean, it's something to do. Definitely, you see the city.
It's definitely like a must do. Like anybody that goes to Chicago.
Yeah, like. It's something to do. Definitely went to go see the Bean.
Oh, right. Famous, like that shiny mirror looking
frijole,
bean, right?
Whatever. Yeah. Spanish people were calling it in the background. El frijolito. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But remember, I did that after the marathon. So going up those steps, I was like, why the fuck are there always stairs?
And that's by like the lake, right? Is that the same area?
No. That's a different park.
Okay.
But honestly, like Chicago's kind of like a New York City. Like you have like a downtown, and it looks like Wall Street kind of ish.
Gotcha.
You know,
like the financial district and.
Yeah, we did that. We did the boat tour, which is really great. The architectural boat tour, and that one took you all the way down to like almost Lake Michigan. Telling you like they have different buildings, different times, like different eras. Art Deco, like I was paying attention. I swear I was. Nice. All I remember was like Art Deco.
Look at you dropping it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's
architectural terms.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a nice name, Art Deco. Yeah, sure. Then and my mom was like, ¿Qué lo que dicen? Yeah. At that point, it was just me and my mom. Everybody had already went back home. But yeah, Chicago was definitely a great city. I would go back, not to run it again, but just to go visit. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. How long did you stay after, like in Chicago?
Until Wednesday. So, but I got there from Friday to Wednesday. Yeah.
Nice. All right, Wody. So, thank you very much for doing the Spun Today podcast. Appreciate it. Definitely can send me like the pictures and stuff like that folks can check out on the website. Will do. Any other things you want to mention? Where can folks check you out on Instagram?
On Instagram, I'm never minding because I'm always never minding my business. Yeah, never minding on Instagram. I got a Facebook, same thing, Christy Medina, whatever.
Nice. I'll link to all that good stuff in the episode notes. Yes. Folks want to check out Christy's page. Mm-hmm. And thanks again. Appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. I'm an alumni. Oh,
absolutely. Snap. Officially. Later, folks.
Bye, guys.
And that was the episode, folks. How cool is that episode? I feel like I just ran a fucking marathon. Thanks again, Wody. Really appreciate you coming on. And before I forget, by the way, Portillo's is the other pizza spot that, like I mentioned throughout the episode, that has like that frozen pizza delivery thing. But I just checked their website and apparently they don't have that right now. but they do have other food like the famous Chicago pizzas and stuff like that. Not pizzas, hot dogs. But yeah, I actually linked in the episode notes if anybody's interested to both Giordano's and Portillo's if you guys want to check them out. Very special shout out as well to the brown streak lady. Yuck. Can you guys imagine that? I mean, we all may or may not have been in situations where we are about to shit ourselves, or maybe even have. But can you imagine that happening during a marathon? Or can you imagine that happening, but you not even noticing it because of like all the stress and shit that your body's under? That's definitely something I have not seen. I've seen like doing the bike tours. I've definitely seen like people laid out. I've seen bike crashes and just like fucking pile ups with like a dozen or more bikes and like people getting hurt that way. I've experienced like that nipple burning thing, but never the brown streak lady. But it's definitely good to know, right? See, folks, where else are you going to get nuanced details like that besides on the Spun Today podcast? But in all honesty, Christy, you are officially Spun Today alum. Really appreciate you coming on. You have an open invitation. Perhaps you come visit us once again after you finish running the Miami run that you mentioned and tell us how that goes. Folks, you can check out Christy's social media. It's linked to in the episode notes, but it's at never_minding_. I also linked to a bunch of other places that we spoke about throughout the podcast, like the Chicago Marathon official website, the New York Roadrunners website, the reservoir that Christy mentioned from Highland Park in Brooklyn, and of course the Spun Today webpage for this episode, which is spuntoday.com/podcast/194. The number's 194. So you can check out all the photos that Christy shared with us and immerse yourself that much more in the experience of this episode. I appreciate the fuck out of each and every one of you listening. Christy, thanks again. Folks, please stick around for a few ways you can help support the Spun Today podcast if you so choose. Peace. What's up, folks? Tony here. I hope you're enjoying the Spun Today podcast as much as I enjoy producing it for you. Here are a few ways you can help support the show. You can support the Spun Today podcast financially by going to spuntoday.com/support. There you will find a couple different ways that you can do just that, some of which will actually not even cost you a dime, such as using my Amazon affiliate link. When you go to spuntoday.com/support, you'll see my affiliate link to Amazon. Click on it and it will take you to Amazon's website, where you can do your shopping like normal. This will not cost you anything extra, but Amazon will pay me for driving traffic to their website. If you'd like to support the podcast more directly, you can do so by becoming a patron at spuntoday.com/support. You'll also find my Patreon link. This is where creators such as myself can be paid directly by patrons like you. You can either make a one-time donation or schedule recurring donations if you so choose. There are also different tiers of support, and depending on which you decide to go with, you'll also receive some perks in return, such as early access to content, free digital copies of my books, free bookmarks, etc. That is, again, by supporting via my Patreon link, available at spuntoday.com/support. Similar to Patreon, at that same location, you'll also find my Ko-fi link as well as my Buy Me a Coffee link. They work very similar to Patreon and are different ways that you can help support the show financially. And last but certainly not least, you have the good old-fashioned PayPal donation button. Any which way that you choose to support is greatly appreciated. It all helps me do more of what I love, which is writing and podcasting. Again, go to spuntoday.com/support. You can also support the Spun Today podcast by rating and reviewing the show wherever it is that you're listening to this episode. I'd really appreciate it because it really does help. Also, follow me on all socials. At Spun Today on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Spun Today on Instagram, and at Spun Today on YouTube, where you'll not only find full-length episodes of the podcast, but also chopped up clips and additional content. And of course, you can follow the Facebook page at facebook.com/Spun Today. Another way you can help support the Spun Today podcast and also upgrade that stale wardrobe of yours is by going to spuntoday.com/support and clicking on the banner for Stitch Fix. Once you do, you'll enjoy a $25 discount to your first purchase. And the way Stitch Fix works is pretty cool. I use it and I've never been disappointed. You'll set up a profile, You'll put in all the sizes for your clothes, as well as all the different brands and types of clothes that you like to wear. It's really simple and intuitive to set up. They'll show you pictures and pretty much give you a thumbs up or thumbs down option on if you would wear something or not. And you get to select all the brands that you already are used to wearing. With this information, there are thousands of passionate, trend-setting stylists will curate a Stitch Fix box for you. They'll send you 5 items that you get to preview before they mail it to you, and you'll get to select based on the image if you like it or not. If not, they'll replace it with something else, and if so, they'll mail it to you absolutely for free. You can try everything on, and you have a few days to send everything back or keep the stuff that you want to keep. Then you can use that $25 credit that I mentioned towards your purchase of those items. Again, to freshen up your wardrobe and also support the Spun Today podcast, go to spuntoday.com/support and click on my affiliate link banner for Stitch Fix and enjoy your $25 credit. Do you want to start your own podcast? Have a great show idea that you want to get out into the masses but don't know quite how to get it from your head out into the world? Well, here's how. Use the podcast host Libsyn. That's who I use to bring the Spun Today podcast to you. And now you can use them the same way. Using the promo code SPUN, S-P-U-N, you can open up your Libsyn account today and get 2 months of free podcast hosting. Here's how it works. Once you record your show, you upload it to your Libsyn account, where you can fill in your episode notes, upload your podcast art, and schedule when you want your episodes to release. Once you do that, Libsyn will take care of the rest. They'll distribute your show to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and all the other podcatchers that you choose, instantaneously and seamlessly. Again, go to libsyn.com and use the promo code SPUN, S-P-U-N, to get 2 months free. Or use the affiliate link that's in the episode notes. Again, that's libsyn.com, promo code SPUN. Take that great podcast idea from out of your head and put it out into the world. And as always, folks, substitute the mysticism with hard work and start taking steps in the general direction of your dreams. Thanks for listening. I love you, Aiden.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you, Grayson.
I love you, Daddy.